E3's underway. We just had the EA conference at 8 p.m. tonight. It was pretty good. They showed more the FIFA The Journey, which looks good, and they showed the Battlefront 2 Feed demo from Naboo, which is class. I like the prequels. I'm a prequel apologist, so it was good for me to see that. But I'm not going to talk about that. The only conference that I can kind of confidently predict was the Nintendo Direct, so I'm going to talk about that. Just as a quick aside, though, before I do that, Activision have said that there's more Crash news coming at this E3. The game's not out yet. The Insane Trilogy. Obviously, this channel's HylianBandicoots as well, so I couldn't not talk about this little bit of tidbit. They've said that be on the lookout for another announcement. I think that might be a new Crash game, just judging by the amount of hype that the Insane Trilogy's had around it. At least the announcement of perhaps a new Crash game, or maybe like, I don't know, cross-platform, something like that. I don't think they'd do cross-platform because they've already announced the game on PS4 exclusively and already gone on about it being on PS4. I've pre-ordered the game on PS4 and I don't even own a PS4. I'm hoping my brother's going to let me play it on his. But maybe they'll announce some like a new game or like something that's coming to multiple platforms. To have Crash on Switch would be amazing. But onto the Nintendo Direct, I've got some notes here. I'm going to predict it before the it's pretty late prediction, which I do apologise for. I don't know who I'm apologising to because nobody really watches my videos, but yeah, better late than never. And the Direct is on Tuesday, I believe, so I've got a couple of days anyway. But let me see if I can find my predictions on here. Here we go. So 30 minutes is what they've said it's going to be, so they've got to make it snappy. Because, and to be fair to them, they did an indie showcase a few months ago which was 15 minutes long, and it was just fucking game after game after game. It was really good. The pace was insane. So if they do that with this Direct, it's going to be perfect. It's going to knock out of the park completely, because you know, some of the traditional conferences, they have people that come out and go, this is going to be an experience like no other. We've revamped the game from the ground up. And to be honest with you, I like that kind of bullshit, but a lot of people don't, and it is just filler. So 30 minutes could be amazing, but if they come out like they did with the Nintendo, with the Switch press conference, and literally just explain to us what the fucking buttons are like they did on that one, it's going to be a disaster because they've only got 30 minutes of time. Because I know at the Switch announcement like conference, they literally took like 5 minutes. Me and my friend were laughing about it when we watched it. Jack, if you're watching this, we were both laughing about the fact that they literally said to us, like, this is the A button and this is the B button. Like, since the NES, we've known what the fuck they are, so you don't need to tell us again. But that's the first thing. I think 30 minutes could be a blessing in disguise if they just pump out game after game after game, or it could be a fucking disaster. And going on the fucking disaster theme, which I'm really hoping it's not going to be, they've said that this conference is going to speak about just... By the way, I've just got the Pokemon Direct in the background because I didn't really know what B-roll footage, plus I don't want to edit anything because I'm a lazy bastard. Going off the sort of idea of it being based on games that are coming out this year, I think they're going to put a worrying amount of time towards Splatoon 2. Because Splatoon 2's not come out yet, it's coming out in July. They're going to go on about the online functionality, which hopefully will feed through into the stuff they're going to talk about, the online features. But Splatoon 2, maybe a gameplay thing, 5 minutes or something, or maybe just a trailer. Hopefully they don't go on about it for too long, because that's going to eat away into our precious 30 minutes that we have. But they do have the Treehouse event that's going on for the whole period, whole duration anyway, so it shouldn't really matter too much if they're doing that. I'm just going to quickly check that I am recording. Yes, I am. That's perfect. And I've also just got an XFAX LAN announcement to update it. No, thank you. So yeah, that's the first thing. Hopefully they don't take too much time on that. What else we got here? We got Pokemon isn't happening. Yeah, Pokemon's not happening. You can see the Pokemon Direct I just said is on here. Overall, I'm a bit meh towards this. If you follow me on Twitter, which I highly recommend you do follow me on Twitter at HBandicoots. It's the HylianBandicoots Twitter account, but it's me, Ethan, mostly on it. I put all my thoughts, and I'm going to be live tweeting the whole of E3 on that anyway, so I do recommend you follow me if you want to. But basically, I said I completely understand the business decision between Ultra Sun and Moon. I'm just finding it really difficult to give a shit. But it's in hindsight, it's kind of to be expected, really. They're making the switch, I imagine, no pun intended, to the Switch, and they're in that transition period now where they're working a way to do this, and it's the same as how it was on with Black and White 2, with the transition period to X and Y. They were in the process of transitioning the Pokemon series into a full 3D game world, and so they had Black and White 2 as this kind of alternate story where you start in a different town, as kind of like put me on for X and Y, and that's what they're doing with this game. But Pokemon's not happening. I don't think there's going to be any mention of any Pokemon games in this direct at all, is my personal prediction. Stars isn't happening, and that's fine. We're just going to have to wait till next year for the new Pokemon game, or the year after. But I'm just really need a reason to give a shit about Sun and Moon, because so far all I've seen is fucking black triangles glued onto legendaries, and I didn't really care about the legendaries that much anyway. Sun and Moon were an amazing game, and they did really well for Nintendo sales wise, so I can completely understand why they're going to do that game, or Ultra Sun and Moon I mean. But, and if you see there, you can see the Switch, they've replaced the Wii U with the Switch. But yeah, I'm going to get the game, and I'm going to enjoy the story, and to be honest with you, Black and White 2 was fucking great. I loved that game. So hopefully they can do something with it, but I don't think we're going to see any Pokemon in the conference because we don't have the time. Animal Crossing Switch is my first big prediction. I think we're going to have one or two big game announcements in this thing. Animal Crossing Switch, I really have my heart set on it, so I really hope they announce it. It would just work perfectly for the game. They've been pissing about now with HD Animal Crossing stuff for a while. They did that little Wii U game thing that was not pretty much nothing on the Wii U, but it was a free piece of software and it looked great. It had all the little HD character models of the villagers running around. And we also had Amiibo Festival on the Wii U, which a lot of people thought was dog shit. But personally I enjoyed it. I mean, it's just a little board game really. I mean, if you go into it with tempered expectations, there's not really anything you can complain about. It's a fun little board game. The Amiibo are great. I got it for a cheap price as well, so I'm not really complaining there, but in terms of a full Animal Crossing experience, I think the Switch in the holiday would benefit from that so much. And because the Switch is a portable home console, I mean, Animal Crossing is just perfect for the Switch, and if they don't announce it, I'm going to be a little bit depressed inside. But we can all cross our fingers. But that's my prediction for the major announcement, is Animal Crossing Switch. I know a lot of people want Metroid as well, which it's a possibility, but for me, it's either going to be, the big dog is either going to be Animal Crossing Switch or Metroid. I'm going to replay this. Yeah, let's replay this again. Because hopefully I'll be done talking by the time this finishes, but use this as sort of a podcast format. If you want to tab out, be my guest. If you've lasted this long, you are a legend. But yeah, so it's, for me, it's either going to be, the big dog's either going to be Animal Crossing Switch or Metroid Prime, or just any general Metroid game. To be honest with you, an HD side-scroller Metroid with like new graphics would be fucking brilliant. But yeah, that's one of the two ones for me that I think it's going to be, in terms of big reveals. Whether or not they will be with us by the end of the year, I don't know, because I don't really... Nintendo, traditionally, as far as I'm concerned, aren't really the company that announce a big game and then go, yeah, it's coming out not that long. I might be wrong there, but I know with Zelda games and Mario games, they announce them a decent amount of time ahead. So yeah, but... Obviously, Mario Odyssey stuff, they'll spend a large majority looking at Mario Odyssey, and I'm absolutely fine with that. I mean, this is an absolutely amazing year for me, gaming-wise. Not only am I getting a new Mario game, which is my favourite, like a new Mario game akin to my favourite Mario game ever, which is Super Mario 64. So I cannot wait to see anything I can possibly get my hands on that. I do imagine the E3 show floor is going to be very similar to how they had last year, where they focused on Breath of the Wild. This year will have something to do with Mario, and a lot of people in the industry are saying that, so it's not really a non-prediction. But to be fair, they do actually have more than one game to show this year. And I'm not even saying that as a backhanded compliment, because last year with Breath of the Wild's probably the best game ever. So if you're going to have one game, it's good that it's that. A lot of people are saying Pikmin 4 is going to be shown. I don't believe that at all. I think they might show a bit of Pikmin, Hey Pikmin, because again, that game's not out either. It comes out at the end of June. To be fair, ARMS isn't out either. And these two, like, these two games and Splatoon, this is the worrying thing. I hope they just don't spend too much time on it and show it in the treehouse, and show it in those invitationals we've got, because we love these games and we're waiting for them to come out. Like, I've got all of these games on pre-order. I'm loving. I can't wait for them. I'm gonna support Hey Pikmin. Right, I'm back. I think apologies for that. Computer had a bit of a hiccup, but yeah, basically what I was saying was Miyamoto. He came out with Pikmin 3 and he was like, "Look, this game is awesome. Please buy it." I didn't buy it initially, and when I did play it, I was like, "Oh my god, I believe like Pikmin is amazing," and I highly recommend Pikmin 3 if you haven't played it. So I'm going to support Hey Pikmin. I know it's going to be more of a childish game. I don't say childish as in, I mean childish as in it's kind of geared more toward. It's going to be an easy platformer. Is basically what I'm saying. It's not going to be hard. I don't think. It's developed by the same people that do the Yoshi games on the DS. So, but I'm looking forward to that. But I don't think they're going to come out and announce another Pikmin game as one's not even come out yet. I just don't think that's going to happen, especially considering they've said that they're going to be focusing on games that are coming out this year, which I don't think Pikmin will. Anyway, what is next? The Rabbids game, obviously that's a given. Anyone can predict that now because it's been leaked. I think that game looks pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what it is, and not jumping to conclusions about it being a little meme minion game, even though it is. FIFA segment, hopefully a general third party and indie game sizzle reel. So we'll get a little sizzle reel of indie games coming to Switch. Obviously indie games have revelled in the legendary attach rate of the Switch to start with because the console generated so much hype. You've got these games like Snake Pass, and Tumbleseed is a fucking great game as well. But they've really benefited from being out early, and while the hype of the people want games to play on this console. So more indie games, a general third-party sizzle reel of the sort of games that we're going to get from Ubisoft, and EA, perhaps a FIFA segment. I know EA didn't talk about it in the thing, although they did release a press statement about the FIFA Switch version. It's not going to have the journey, which is very unfortunate because I really enjoyed the journey on PC. So yeah, so I'm probably going to avoid this one, to be honest. But, you know, to be fair, I don't think FIFA will be in the conference considering it's 30 minutes. It'll probably be in Treehouse, or they'll let EA deal with that. But it's great that we're getting that game. But it might be in the sizzle reel that I think they will inevitably have. A virtual console. In an ideal world, and you know what, I'm going to throw this out as a prediction. I want to see an N64 virtual console, and I want to see Super Mario 64. So my fucking wildcard prediction now. In fact, I've got another wildcard prediction, but my two wildcard predictions, here they are. Super Mario 64 virtual console on on Switch. Get it now. Pre-order Odyssey now, and you get that. That's my fucking prediction. And they're like, you know what? We all know that we're all in the Mario zone now. We're waiting for this game to come out. It's going to be amazing. And well, to hold you over, have a classic platformer. I mean, in an ideal world, I'd love an HD remaster of 64, but considering Odyssey is going back to the roots of open world Mario sandboxy style shit that we've not seen since Sunshine, I don't think that needs to happen. Plus, 64 still holds up and the graphics have charm. Fight me on that one if you disagree, because you probably will, because it looks like shit now. Talking about the online service, obviously we need to know what this online service is, and that links in with the virtual console, because they're doing this like Netflix style subscription style thing, which, to be honest, that's amazing. You know, I think it's great that we're going to have some of that heritage there to play if we have this online service, but I don't think we're going to be getting the best games ever on there, because I think Nintendo know they can make money off the classic titles, and that's fine. But if they turn around to someone that's like, yeah, here you go, here's what the online platform details, and you know what, Super Mario World's going to be on there for you as well, if you want to go and enjoy that while you're playing E3. Something like that would be great. What else have we got here? Zelda. Yeah, Zelda, I think my big prediction for that one is there's going to be a Zelda trailer showing this new story mode, about 3 to 5 minutes explaining the new story mode, explaining what that's going to be. Perhaps it's going to be like a back in time scenario. Brian Altano spoke about this on MVC.
IGN's Nintendo podcast, and I think I have a similar idea to him as well. I think it's going to be perhaps something 100 years in the past, so not after the Great Calamity. I don't know how that would work out with in the enemy way, like how it would work out with enemies, but to have those ruins restored and to play in the same world but with like certain architecture not destroyed would be cool. But yeah, I think they're going to show us a new story trailer for that coming in the winter, because they said they want to focus on things that are coming out this year, and Zelda's Winter DLC is a massive part of that. So can't wait to see that, and hopefully we'll see gameplay of that in the treehouse as well. I'm really looking forward to that. And Zelda Breath of the Wild, can't say enough how fucking good it is. I've just hit my 100th shrine, and I'm still going on that game, and I can't wait for the summer DLC to see where I've not been on the map. Wildcard for me, second wildcard is BAM, Beenox Call of Duty game on Switch, and I would love this. I mean, I can't wait for World War II. I love sort of World War II era history and modern history, because that's what I did in college and stuff like that in high school. That's what interests me the most. So Beenox, who developed the Amazing Spider-Man games, and they recently tweeted, which sparked a rumour about Call of Duty on Switch, about Beenox working on a port. If you've seen that tweet, you probably know about that news. But basically, Beenox tweeted that they were like, and perhaps they could be helping the main, because I think they're an Activision developer. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but apparently Beenox had the people from Call of Duty World War II, and they tweeted about it, and that sort of sparked some rumour about that there perhaps being a Switch version of the game. I don't think the main World War II Call of Duty game's not going to come to Switch, but it would be fucking incredible if they had a Switch only like exclusive campaign. That would be really good. Because we've seen it before with Call of Duty games, and like Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront had like a PSP only version. So if we could have like a Switch like weird sort of World War II mini campaign game, that would be really cool. So that's my wildcard prediction. The likelihood of that's low, but if it did happen, it would be amazing. So yeah, as I've said, and finally, well, final thing is another Amiibo line. So depending on what game they announce, if it's Metroid Prime, then it would be cool if they turn around and were like, yeah, there's going to be a new Metroid Prime line of Amiibo that come out. So there's going to be a Metroid, Samus, a bunch of characters there. If they do a new Animal Crossing game, perhaps a new wave of cards or a new wave of figures. Although it's going to be less likely if it's a new Animal Crossing game, because we already have quite a lot of Animal Crossing Amiibo anyway. When they talk about Hey Pikmin, if they talk about that for a little bit, then they might show that game's going to be bundled in with the Amiibo, or have like a bundle with the Amiibo, because the Pikmin Amiibo for Hey Pikmin's not up for pre-order yet, so they might talk about that being bundled in with the game, which is why I've not fully pre-ordered Hey Pikmin yet. And finally, perhaps a little Skyrim segment. Todd Howard, the little Don, has been quiet about that for a while. So I think they're going to have a little aside and say, like, Skyrim's still coming. It's coming at the end of this year. We've got cool little features here. Talk about the little Switch accoutrements that they're going to have. So perhaps a little touchscreen map integration or something like that. That could either happen in Bethesda's own press conference or Nintendo's press conference. I think it would probably happen in Nintendo's, because they'll want that little snippet of like third-party support. But I'm pretty like, what are Bethesda going to talk about really in their own conference? Because if Arcane announce another game, how the fuck are they doing it? Because they've released Prey and Dishonored 2 in not that long a period of time, unless it's obviously that Bethesda Canadian development studio doing something. But I digress on that. Essentially what I'm saying is Todd's going to talk about Skyrim a little bit, and Fuss Rodar, I'm ready for that one. So yeah, that's about it from me. Main big boys is Animal Crossing Switch is my big one. Virtual console stuff, Super Mario 64 on Virtual Console, that's a big boy. Wildcard is the Beenox World War Call of Duty game. And yeah, just a new Amiibo line, indie sizzle reel, third party shit, and make sure you follow me on Twitter, because I'm going to be live tweeting everything. And that's where I tweet a lot of my opinions and stuff like that now, because I don't really make videos that much. We don't really make videos that much anymore on the channel, and we're going to try and do some videos over the summer, some classic like gaming stuff, which I'm looking forward to doing. And I want to do more videos like this, but yeah, a lot of my thoughts and opinions, because I'm very active on Twitter, so I do recommend you follow me on Twitter. It sounds like I'm trying to plug my Twitter a lot, but that's because I am. Have a good one.